thyristor is used for very high power applications, and another name of thyristor was silicon controlled rectifier. This thyristor, and this is a three terminal device, we have also studied the IGBT is a three terminal device, and we have anode and cathode and gate, and this anode and cathode is called the power terminal. Okay, and this gate and this gate and cathode is called the signal terminal. Okay, so this is the signal where you can control your gate, and this anode and cathode is your power terminal, which is a power circuit, and gate and cathode is a control circuit. Okay, this one, and it is a four layer device. Four layer device, you can see that PNPN or P1 N1 P2 N2, four layer device. Okay, and N2 layer is thin layer and highly doped, and when you see this P2 layer is thick layer and less highly doped. Then N1 is the blocking layer, it is the thickest layer. This one is the thickest layer and less doped. Okay, and P1 is same as like a P2 only. So you have three junctions. This is J1 junction, J2 and J3 junction. So you have three junction and four layer device. This generally this device we use in very high power application. Like if you go and if you work in the Nuclear Power Corporation of India, so you cannot go to control the D2O or the heavy water flow for controlling the nuclear reaction power. That is called the pulse power electronics. And there was a professor, her name is Professor Smidley in Caltech Electronics. So she worked on this big reactor control, and from a distance place by using laser. So this when V anode, this is the connection diagram of this thyristor, you can see here. And this thyristor is supplied, you can see that this is your load, and this is the thyristor. And when you apply a control signal between gate and cathode, the thyristor can be turned on. And how it will turn on, we will see in due course of time. Okay. So now let us understand, when VAK is positive, when this NO2 cathode voltage is positive. Okay. So we have this is anode is positive and this is negative. So when this is positive and this is negative, when anode is positive with respect to cathode, then this device said it is forward bias. If you see at the junction level, you see this is positive and this is minus. That means this J1 is your forward bias. Okay, this J1 is forward bias, and J3 also is forward bias. Okay, but this J2 is reverse bias. The both junctions are forward bias and this is the reverse bias. So when you have a reverse bias, what kind of current it flows? So if it is a reverse bias, J1, J3 are forward bias, there will be some leakage current here. Okay, between N1 and P2, there will be small leakage current because it is mainly blocking mode. It is nearly blocking mode. Now, I have just shown a picture here as a VI characteristics. This is a voltage and this one is your current characteristics. And I want to control this one through this some kind of gate current. Okay, voltage, you go on increasing this applied voltage. So if you go on increasing the anode voltage, so you will see that there is a small leakage current or leakage path is formed in the J2 junction. And at that time what happened, as you go on increasing the voltage, VBU at this point I am marking in this VI characteristics, and how it comes I will. So when we have tried to understand the concept, it is very important, and that is what it is needed. So when you go on increasing the voltage, at a point that there will be breakdown in this junction, because each junction there is a blocking capability of the voltage, and above the blocking capability, like a diode, we have already studied that when the diode also there is a blocking capability, and if you just increase the voltage it will break down. So similarly, there as you go on increasing the voltage, you will see that at certain voltage at this channel will create and there will be breakdown, and there is a current because there is a current flow in this one. So in large amount of electron will flow, and through that one, that channel to the P2 region, and immediately there will be channel will be formed by which the thyristor will immediately conduct to some current, maybe some of the current here, and this current and this region is called the unstable region. This is the unstable region, and as soon as it turn on according to load current, the thyristor will switch to one of the current which is above the latching current, that we will discuss in the next slide. We will divide the complete, and with the two transistor model we will try to analyze the VI curve. So what we did, we just divided this, there is a PNP transistor and NPN transistor. So this is the two model you can see here. There is a NPN transistor and PNP transistor, and all other things remains as it is. Now you have a cathode, you have an anode, and this is the equivalent circuit, which when you increase this voltage more and more, this forward breakover voltage, or this will be charge carrier through this leakage charge path, it will start increasing, and suddenly with the breakover at B, the breakover voltage takes place at this point, and now the thyristor will switch, and B and C is the unstable region. Even if you want to test this one, when you are seeing in the practical, you want to see the VI characteristics of this one, you will see that during this period of the time, this switching over takes place, and you cannot recognize that time period, and you cannot recognize this part of the curve. Then at the latching current, when the current increases by, this is called the latching current, and at this point suddenly the thyristor will start conducting according to load, and that BC is the unstable, CDE, and this CDE is called the CDE called the conducting region or the stable region. Okay, according to the current, this will turn on, and the current should be limited by the external resistance. So this current may be here, or maybe here, or maybe here, or maybe here. It is by the load current, and this is your the reverse voltage. Okay, this is the reverse blocking voltage, and you can see here there is another curve. When I increase the gate current VBO, or you can see that this voltage was here when the current IG current was 0, As Ig current, you go on increasing the Ig current, you can see that the VAK or VBO start decreasing to this. So this way, this is properly designed. Now, the what is the anode current? What is the latching current? What is the holding current? Now we should understand this latching current is the minimal current by which the thyristor will go to conducting region. Below this, thyristor will not conduct. Okay. So this is the latching current, and this is the, oh sorry, it is holding current, IH it is called. So the holding current, this is the latching current and this is the holding current. What is the holding current? Holding current is minimal current by below which the thyristor will turn off. So these two current are very important while designing the gate driver circuit. The latching current is the minimal current, this one is the minimal current above which the thyristor will be turned on. Once turned on, you cannot turn off that one, because I told you thyristor is a semi-control switch. Once you turn on, like you have a some water body or water pot, and you have in the on top of the water pot there is some kind of covering or from a paper cover, and you make the paper hole, you cannot again close that paper hole. Once it is you made, it will be there like that. So similarly, once channel is formed, the thyristor will go on conducting that current, and the holding current is that current below which the thyristor will be turned off. That is why when you want to know that the thyristor is on, then you must know that the thyristor current must be greater than IL, and if it is off, then you must know that thyristor current is less than IH, which is the holding current. These two current are very important, and as soon as you go on increasing the gate current, your breakdown voltage will be come down. So this is what last plot we have. And these two transistor model, we want to write down the equation for this. We know this is my IA, okay, this is my anode current, and this is my IK is my cathode current, okay. So this is the PNP transistor and NPN transistor. So for you know that for any transistor, the IC is equal to alpha IE and I plus ICBO. ICBO is nothing but your leakage current, collector base leakage current is ICBO1 for the thyristor 1 and ICBO2 for the thyristor 2. So alpha is your common base current gain, which is IC by IE. So if we, as for NPN transistor, the T2 transistor, IE is equal to IK. You can see here, this is IE is equal to IA for PNP, and for NPN, IE is equal to your IK. Now similarly, IC2, which is nothing but here, IC2, this IC2 is equal to, you can write down the IC2 is alpha 2 for this the current gain of the transistor T2 plus ICBO2, the leakage current of this one. So if you see here, IE is equal to IC plus IB, okay, you know that this is the our IB current and plus IC, and IE1 is equal to IA, okay, IA current is equal to this one. So IA is nothing but IC1 plus IC2, which you put here these two equation. From here equation 1 and 2, when you put here, this is the equation number 3, and IK is nothing but IC1 plus IC2 plus IG, get current here it is also. So when this one is nothing but Ia plus Ig current, because IC1 and IC2 is equal to Ia. So this is, you can put here in this equation. So from 3 and 4, if you put what is Ia, Ia is nothing but this equation and plus this. So if you find, just put it and take all Ia in one side, and you will get this equation. And finally, this is your equation, the anode current. So when anode current is greater than the latching current, the device will conduct. So the anode current is depend on the all the factors here. So what are the factors the anode current depend? It depend on alpha 2. It also depend on the Ig current or the gate current. It depend on the also the leakage current. It also depend on the leakage current of the T2. Also it depend on the current gain of alpha 1 and alpha 2. So that to any form you can turn on the device. Triggering. What is the triggering? Triggering means turning on of a thyristor. Sometime we call the turning on, or we call triggering, or we call firing also. Sometime we call as a firing of thyristor. Okay, firing of a thyristor. Okay, so we call triggering, firing, or turning on. Okay, so that is what these words you should not be confused. Okay, so there are different kind of triggering. First triggering is thermal triggering. Thermal triggering means if you increase the, as soon as you increase the alpha 1 and alpha 2 tends to 1. So what you are doing? So the thermal triggering, the temperature of the junction increased. The junction J2 of the temperature increased. So as soon as J2 increased the junction temperature, then automatically there is a more large leakage current. The leakage current will lead to your current gain will increase, and which will alpha 1 alpha 2 tends to tends to 1, which will equal to Ia is large determined by the load. According to load current, it will be turned on, and it required a small Ig current. Okay, and if there is a large voltage you applied quickly, you have applied a large sudden voltage across the thyristor. So then the J2, there will be there will be large leakage current ICBO1 and ICBO2 will go on increasing. These two current will go on increasing as soon as a very large change in the voltage in the very short of time, and that is called the transient dV by dt. Okay, so this leakage current will increase and device will go to the current will be greater than latching current, and device will be turned on. And also the triggering due to the light radiation. So light radiation, like here you can see here, this is a high voltage circuit. Okay, this picture I am showing a high voltage valve, and these high voltage valves you can trigger by using the laser rays. Okay, yes.
Sir, can you repeat the second point again?
Which
What is
one?
IJ2? dV by dt triggering method.
Okay, okay. dV by dt triggering method, the IJ2, we have I have already told you we have 4 junction. This is junction 1 2 3 4. Okay, so at this junction, at this junction J2, this is the leakage current. Nah? The leakage current will flow from here to here. So IJ2 is the junction current. Okay. So as soon as you applied very large voltage, like the breakdown voltage, I told you when you your VI curve, we have a break over voltage. So sorry, let me. and that is what the light radiation is one of the very important aspect. And when you in the summary, what are the triggering methods? So these triggering methods are, if the thyristor is applied with a forward voltage, okay, or the forward bias. The thyristor is forward bias, means you have applied anode as a positive and cathode as a negative. Okay. When we applied a voltage as a forward bias, and if your voltage applied, or the applied voltage is greater than 0 or greater than VO, applied voltage, whatever applied, it is positive. Okay. Then by applying a positive gate current, your anode current, when it became greater than the latching current, then you can turn on the device. First thing is, the thyristor should be forward biased, and you apply little gate current and it can be turned on. One. And second one, by applying large voltage or above the breakover voltage, then also thyristor will turn on. These two methods. Or third method is by applying large dV by dt, like we have already discussed that one. When you apply large dV by dt, it can be turned on. Or the temperature effect, when there is a large for example, a leakage current, and that way this will have turned on the thyristor. Or by direct light radiation, like a high voltage DC and nuclear power plant, we could able to turn on. So this 5 method of turning on is possible to a thyristor. But you remember that when you turn on the thyristor, you cannot turn off again, because once it is turned on, even if your gate current is 0, it will not be turned off. Okay, that is why you need to divert the current, or you need to decrease the current lower than the holding current, and that is the way that you can turn on and turn off a thyristor. So you see, we are seeing here, this is a switching characteristics of thyristor. Switching characteristics means the turning on and turning off. When you applied a positive gate current, or a gate current is applied, the device conduct after time delay Td. Now you applied here Ig. I am just drawing over that Ig. You can see here. I have applied Ig, but Ig, Ig when you applied, after the certain amount of current, at 90% of the rated gate current. Where you will find this gate current? Gate current you will find from the data sheet. Okay. So data sheet of the manufacturer will be given here. So when it is applied, this gate current, then after 90 to 100%, you can see there is a time delay between this one. So during time delay, the current will start building up. But at this point, it will become the gate current become constant. At this point, you can see that there are large current change in this. If your load current is very high, this current may increase also very sharply also. Very sharp it may increase. Or it may vibrate like this. It is showing an ideal case, but it may go like this. So this during the turning on, what is the problem? The di by dt is very high, because there is a large current change from this 0 to this current, the anode current or the load current. So there is a large current change between these two. You can see that this is the very large current and this is the small current. There is a large change in this current, and this current path may go like this, or it may go like this, or it may also go like this also, this current. So you can see that the current change is very large. So that is what it is called the di by dt. Its rate of change of the current is very large. And this I current will create a junction temperature where it will increase the junction temperature of the J2 junction, not J1 and J3. They both are forward biased, you keep in mind. They are already in the conduction state, they don't require. So they are under the conduction state. Only J2 is the reverse bias. So that is where the large change of the current will create the local heat in the junction J2. And due to overheating, this device may fail also. The device may fail. That is why during turn on, di by dt protection should be controlled. So during turn on, you need to control di by dt. That means you need di by dt protection during turn on. And now during turn off, so what are the device you need to control? So during turn off, if you see here, when you have applied here, this is the turn off. I should be like this. Okay. So you see, when you turn off at this point, like here, you have gate current became 0. Okay. So when gate current is became 0, or you applied the reverse voltage, or VAK is reverse biased. Okay. So when it will be turned off, when your current reduce below the holding current. If it is lower than the holding current, and then this device will be turned off. So that means latching current is always greater than holding current, IH. Okay, keep in mind. So holding current. So this current, when you decrease below the holding current, the device will be turned off. So when you apply a negative voltage, okay, when you apply negative reverse bias, that means you have 4 junctions, J1, J2, J3, J4, J1, J2, J3, J4, and J1 is reverse bias, J3 is reverse bias, but J2 is forward bias. When you negative voltage applied, you applied, this is your anode and this is your cathode. When you applied minus here and plus here, this applied the reverse voltage across this thyristor. That means when you reverse voltage, the J2 is still forward bias, and there are still residual charge in P2 region and N1 layer, and they required some time to recombine, and this is what we studied in the also in our diode circuit as a reverse recovery characteristics. So they required some time to recombine again, and that time this is like, so you can show that there is a charging time and there is also turn off time and total commutation time, and this is called the recovery time or recombination time. So charge then IRR larger than diode. In case of thyristor, this IRR is, this is IRR is greater than our, for example, 1 kVA, 1 kV thyristor and 1 kV diode. 1 kV thyristor have large IRR as compared to diode circuit. So this way, when you are turning off that time, you can see here the voltage is suddenly rising actually. So this voltage suddenly rising, and this voltage may rise like this or it may rise like this. So there is a large dV by dt when you block the voltage. So when you block, when turn on the device, there is a large di by dt. When you block the voltage, there is a large dV by dt. That is why you need a dV by dt protection during the turning off. In the turning off, you require dV by dt. When turning on, you require di by dt protection. That is why this thyristor are very popular device for very high power applications. Okay. So now these two protection are required. So these are the two protection circuit. dV by dt protection. You can see that across there are thousands of circuit. If you just put in the IEEE Explorer transaction, you will find that at least 10 million circuits are there for turning off and turning on protection. The on off circuit I have given that this voltage is charged plus and minus. So when there is a turn off, there is a sudden, not a sudden change in the voltage. The voltage developed across this thyristor depend on the RC time constant. As the time constant is very large, slowly it will charge this one. So similarly, there is another circuit that when you are then turn on, this circuit is charged. Okay. And when you turn off the thyristor or applied the reverse bias, then this will be discharged through this path. So you can see that the discharging path is more resistant and it is very slow. So you can choose the R1 and R2 so that the time constant you can increase. So this is called the soft charging or soft switching off of the thyristor. So there are many methods: soft switching, there are smooth switching, there are different circuits are available. At least 10 million circuit you will find in this. But I have taken a very simple circuit so that you can understand the concept how to design this one. And also when we turn on, you require to protect the thyristor from large current change, okay, large change in the current or large drop of the current. And this, if you put the input inductor L here, you can control the current, because any inductor there is not instantaneous current change. So inductor current you can change, you cannot change instantaneously. Slowly depend on the di by dt, L di by dt will develop. So there is a current, a finite time is required to charge, okay, to increase the current. That way this will slowly increase the current. So this way we can protect both the dV by dt and di by dt protection. Okay. So any questions or comments from anyone? It is